All right, guys, so we are going to skip the course activity for now. We're going to move on to cells, the basic units of life. We're going to move on to that mastery test. So go ahead and follow along with me on that one. And again, I don't want to show you the answers yet. So for the first question, all you're really looking for is eukaryotic versus prokaryotic cells. Now, prokaryotic cells are going to be like bacteria, et cetera, et cetera. Eukaryotic are like what make up our body. So prokaryotic, you're really looking for these tails. All right, so prokaryotic, boom, prokaryotic. Everything else, if it's just got like a wall, if it kind of looks like a normal cell, that's gonna be eukaryotic. All right, so you're looking for the cell organelles, the little pieces of the cell that are found in both animal and plant cells. So if it's only found in a plant, okay, you're gonna put it over here. So let's start with what's in both. In every single plant or animal cell, you are going to have a nucleus. You need a brain, okay? You need the Golgi apparatus, which help with transportation and stuff. You need a cell membrane because that's gonna be kind of like the spine, the backbone, the structure. You need a ribosome because that makes proteins, and everything needs proteins. Everything else, chloroplasts, okay, we don't have those. Chloroplasts make energy from the sun, and a cell wall, that's gonna be like the stems you feel of a plant, all right? Okay, this one's a little bit easier. It says, Floyd just learned about the fluid mosaic model that describes the structure of a cell's plasma membrane, okay? Which everyday item. So a plasma membrane, it's gonna hold all the contents and, you know, have everything together. And again, the sandwich cookie, right? It's kind of holding all of the material inside of it, and it's protecting it. I can see how the Swiss roll would kind of look like it as well, though. Okay, so next, this is viruses do not possess all the characteristics of life. Identify the characteristics that the viruses display and don't display. So let's start with characteristics of life present in viruses. Okay, so viruses have a defined boundary, and they do have internal organization, but they cannot eliminate waste. They cannot use energy. They cannot grow and develop. Oop. That one goes over here too, if I can get it. I hate these for that reason. And then they're not made up of one or more cells. So that's the big thing. They cannot live on their own. They are not their own living organism, right? That's why they need our cells. That's why they infect us. Okay, next. Okay, X, if you look here, that's the brain, right? Easy enough, that's the nucleus. Okay, the cell in the image, if it has a nucleus, it's eukaryotic, okay? If it's got like a brain, if it doesn't, if it's just got all of the genetic material floating around, that's a prokaryotic. W, okay, this is going to be our chloroplast. So you can see that these are like green. Chloroplasts are always gonna be green. That's why plants are green. It's because they're absorbing energy from the sun. So chloroplast, and that means it is a plant. All right? Okay. So, big thing. So the blank gets rid of cell waste. Ribosomes make proteins. The nucleus is the brain. So if you didn't know, lysosome, the word lys, L-Y-S, means to throw away waste, throw away trash. Okay? The blank helps these molecules exit the cell, right? So the good thing about the cell membrane, okay, is that things can enter in and exit out as long as it allows. It kind of like just, it decides what's gonna come in and out. Okay, a diagram of an animal cell is shown, all right? Correctly label each organelle. Okay, so we've already talked about it. This is the brain, this little circle in the top. Okay, these little teeny tiny dots, okay, those are gonna be ribosomes, okay? All of this, that's transporting information from the nucleus of the cell. So that's gonna actually be the rough ER, and these big ones are going to be the smooth ER. And we can go into that later, all right? The powerhouse of the cell, what makes all the energy is this shape right here, it's the mitochondria, all right? The cell membrane, this outside wall, okay? The Golgi apparatus is gonna kind of look like the ER. It's also gonna be responsible for transporting stuff, but it's over here. It's separate. And the centriole is just going to be these like little tubes. They help with the DNA and stuff, and we can explain that too at a different time. All right, again, lots of matching. Matched each organelle, right? So kind of like organs of the cell, organelle. Good way of thinking about it. All right, so the centrioles are tube-like, oh wait, hold on. Yeah, let's go through this. So let's start with endoplasmic reticuli, okay? Those are gonna be these, those are gonna be these tube-like structures that are the site of protein and lipid synthesis. So the ER is gonna make proteins like and fats, okay? Centrioles, all right, they are cylindrical tubular organelles, cell division, DNA, that kind of stuff. Cilia and flagella, like we talked about on those prokaryotes, the little tails, that's what they are. So they are thread-like structures that assist in movement. Chloroplasts, right? They contain chlorophyll, and help with photosynthesis. Okay. Mitochondria is the site of cellular respiration and energy production. So mitochondria produces, and then lysosomes, like we talked about, digest. There are 20 questions, so we're about halfway there. All right. So, which cell organelle helps the plant maintain its structure during stress? So the release of water from the vacuoles, think of it as like a vacuum in plants and some other things. Vacuoles they store stuff for later, so that like if you think about it, cactuses, they have vacuoles. They can hold water in. That way when it's really dry for a lot of days, it doesn't rain, they can use that, okay? The blank, the cell wall, helps maintain structure. Okay, which condition is required for viruses to reproduce? Okay, viruses, and we talked about it yesterday, or we talked about it, I guess, in the other video. They must enter the cell of another organism. They need our cells. Okay, which statement forms part of cell theory? Cell theory, big definition here. All living things are made up of cells. Very important thing to know. Why is the nucleus the command center? Okay, it contains the DNA. The nucleus is the command center because it contains the instructions for everything to happen. Okay, why is cell theory considered a scientific theory? It is a well-supported explanation. That's what a theory is. Well-supported. It's not fact necessarily. It's just a lot of detail, lot of support, but not 100% confirmed. Like there's some things we just can't confirm, even if we know. Science is very skeptical. It's like we can't confirm it unless we know 100% without a doubt. Okay, the plasma membrane is composed of a fatty. That's what phospholipid means, with proteins. So what is one of the functions of these proteins? And just like we talked about just a second ago, it allows things to flow in and out of the cell membrane. Proteins on the surface of vesicles determine where the vesicles go. Which cell organelle provides the instructions for these proteins? So again, we just talked about instructions. So if you see the word instructions, that means it's the nucleus. Okay. Okay, so it says plant cells exposed to radiation damages the chloroplast, causes them to lose function. If the mitochondria were unharmed, what would happen to the overall function? So the cells would not be able to make food, okay? But they would be able to release energy, okay? So they can make food, can't release energy. So the mitochondria release energy, the chloroplasts help make food, that's why. We're almost done. Okay, prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. Again, we talked about it, prokaryotic cells, all right, they don't have a nucleus. They do not have a brain. They're bacteria, okay? They just kind of, like they don't have the instructions to make other, kind of like viruses, right? They need something else. Okay, which one of these was necessary to observe cells? Obviously, the microscope you need to be able to see, not the telescope, microscope. Okay, it says, which explains whether the particle described is a virus or a cell. Okay, so a particle can infect humans. It attaches to the host, okay? So infect humans, attach to the host, and then it uses it to copy itself. We talked about this. It is a virus because it has genetic information and attaches to other cells. That's the one. And last but not least, what feature of cells is best demonstrated in this? If you look, it kind of looks like tissues. So you see all this structure and everything, it helps make up tissues. All right, that's all for this mastery test. Hope you did well.